Oh, what's happening here? Instead of putting it on, I put it off. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki om jnanaatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha shri chaitanya manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पुस्तके प्रभुपादति प्रिया श्री गिरिराजय स्वामी सुभक्त्र राधारास बिहारी भक्तिभ्यश्चात्मदाय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पुस्तके श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणम्। हरे कृष्ण। So we are starting, so we are on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, we are on chapter 12. So now, on that side, yeah. So this is a continuation actually, and it's only 16 verses. It's a continuation of chapter 11. So you can read.
Hare Krishna, chapter 12, conversation between Maharaj Rahugana and Jadabharat. Because Maharaj Rahugana was still doubtful about his enlightenment, he asked the Brahmana Jadabharat to repeat his instruction and clarify ideas he could not understand. In this chapter, Maharaj Rahugana offers a respectful obeisance to Jadabharat, who was concealing his real position. The king could understand by his speech how exalted and advanced he was in spiritual knowledge. He was very much regretted his offense against him. Maharaj Rahugana was bitten by the serpent of ignorance, but was cured by the nectarine words of Jadabharat. Later, because he was doubtful about the subjects discussed, he made further inquiries, one question after another. First, he wanted to be released from the offense he had committed at the lotus feet of Jadabharat. Maharaj Rahugana was somewhat unhappy at not being able to grasp Jadabharat's instruction, which were full of meaning that could not be understood by a materialistic person. Therefore, Jadabharat repeated his instruction more clearly. He said that on the surface of the globe, all living entities, moving and unmoving, were but transformation of the earth in different ways. The king was very proud of his king's body, but the body was simply another transformation of the earth. Out of his false prestige, the king was misbehaving toward the palanquin carrier, as a master toward a servant, and he was actually very unkind to other living entities. Consequently, King Rahugana was unfit to give protection to the citizens, and because he was ignorant, he was unfit to be counted among advanced philosophers. Everything in the material world is but a transformation of earth, although things have different names according to their transformation. Actually, the varieties are one and the same, and ultimately all these varieties are vanquished into atoms. Nothing is permanent in the material world. The variety of things and their distinction are simply mental concoctions. The absolute truth is beyond illusion and is manifest in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ultimate realization of the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, called Vasudeva by his devotees. Unless one is blessed with the dust from the feet of a pure devotee on his head, one cannot possibly become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jadabharat was told about his own previous birth and informed the king that by the grace of the Lord he still remembered all the incidents of his past life. Due to the activities of his past life, Jadabharat was being very cautious and was therefore assuming the characteristic of a deaf and a dumb man to avoid mingling with the material world. Association with the material modes of nature is very powerful. The bad association of materialistic man can be avoided only in the association of devotees. In the association of devotees, one is given an opportunity to render devotional service in different ways: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedam. In this way, in the association of devotees, one can pass over material association, cross over the ocean of nascence, and return home back to God.
So this is very, very important now. The text one. Rahugana uvacha namo namah vigrahaya swarupa tuchikrita vigrahaya namo vadhuta dvijabandhulinga niguddha nityanubhavaya tubhyam. King Rahugana said, "O most exalted personality, you are not different from the Supreme Person Godhead. By the influence of your true self, all kinds of contradiction in the Shastras have been removed. In the dress of a friend of a Brahmana, you are hiding your transcendental blissful position. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you." Purport. From the Brahma Samhita, we understand the Supreme Person Godhead is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. Rishabhadeva, the direct incarnation of the Supreme Person Godhead, the cause of all causes. His son Bharat Maharaj was now acting as the Brahmana Jad Bharat, had received his body from the cause of all causes. Therefore, his address as Karana Vigrahaya. See, actually, many things here I have already discussed. And I'm not going to come back. Even though I'm saying points, I'm not going to come back on this. It's already been discussed. Text 2. Jaramaya tasya yatha gadam sat nidaghdagdhasya yatha himandruha kudehamana hi vidasta drishte Brahman vachaste mritam aushadham me. O best of the Brahmanas, my body is filled with dirty things and my vision has been bitten by the serpent of pride. Due to my material conceptions, I am diseased. Your nectarine instructions are the proper medicine for one suffering from such a fever, and they are cooling waters for one scorched by the heat. So, see, now we are studying Bhagavatam and we are studying Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is being repeated. This whole section I'm already discussing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm not going to repeat here. Alright? Very, very, very much in depth. This is Sankhya philosophy. This whole section is Sankhya philosophy, and Prabhupada has given them in the purports. Here it's very brief, but in that Chaitanya Charitamrita, huge purports, right? So I'm not going to repeat. Alright? So I will just go fast. So the conditioned soul has a body full of dirty things, bones, blood, urine, stool, and so forth. Nonetheless, the most intelligent men in this material world think they are these combinations of blood, bone, urine, and stool. So the body is made of all these dirty things, right? And the most intelligent man, what he thinks? He thinks he's made of this. So Prabhupada is saying, if this is so, why can't other intelligent men be made with these ingredients which are so readily available? Right? So you're intelligent and you believe your intelligent body is made, then why do you create another intelligent? The entire world is going on under the bodily conception and creating a hellish condition unfit for any gentleman's living. Alright? So because we believe we are this body, I just heard this morning Prabhupada's lecture. He's speaking of Varnashram Dharma. So sometimes we believe Varnashram Dharma is only, your work. Everybody has an occupation. So Prabhupada is saying that Varnashram Dharma means Varnashram Dharma, meaning the purpose of this Varnashram is for God realization. So he said anybody who doesn't enter the Varnashram system cannot become God conscious. So here, the instructions given by King Rahugana, by Jad Bharat are very valuable. They are like the medicine that can save one from a snake bite. The Vedic instructions are like nectar and cool water for one suffering from scorching heat. So why, see, in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada has put all the Vedic instructions. It's up to us now to study. Whatever doubts I have about a particular subject matter, I shall ask you about later. Text 3. Tasmad bhavantam mama samshayartham prakshami paschad adhuna subodham Vyatma yoga grathitam tavoktam Akyahi kautuhala chetasumi. What are the doubts I have about a particular subject matter? I shall ask you about later. For the time being, this mysterious yoga instruction you have given me for self-realization appear very difficult to understand. What was the instruction given? Yes? Not the body and what more? Huge discussion from chapter 11. King Rahugana is bewildered, completely bewildered by what the Brahmana Jadbharat is saying. He became completely bewildered. Mind. Huge section. Half the chapter was about the mind. And he says, I'm not understanding. Please repeat them in a simple way so that I can understand them. My mind is very inquisitive and I want to understand this clearly. Because in the yoga instructions, Adhyatma Yoga, the main focus is about the mind. What is the mind? What to do with this mind? Right? So last week we had a huge discussion on this. Yeah, Jivan Mukta, yeah. We are checking ourselves if we are Jivan Mukta. Anyway, my mind is very inquisitive and I want to understand this clearly. Kautuhala chetasaha. Kautuhala. So his mind is very inquisitive to understand the mystery of such statements. All right, please read. For some reason I'm losing my voice. Third, no? We are on third, no? Purport. By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Vedic literature instructs Tasmat Gurum Prapadyet Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. An intelligent man must be very inquisitive to know the transcendental science deeply. Therefore, one must approach a guru, a spiritual master. Although Jadbharat explained everything to Maharaj Rahugana, it appears that his intelligence was not perfect enough to understand clearly. He therefore requested a further explanation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. The student must approach a spiritual master and surrender unto him fully, pranipatena. He must also question him in order to understand his instructions, pariprashnena. One should not only surrender to the spiritual master, but also render loving service unto him, sevaya, so that the spiritual master will be pleased with the student and explain the transcendental subject matter more clearly. A challenging spirit before the spiritual master should be avoided if one is at all interested in learning the Vedic instructions in depth. Yeah, so basic instruction, right? If I want to learn the Vedic literatures, I must approach a guru. Attitude is surrender, inquire, and we should do what? Yes, we must do service. Why we must do service? Why should we do service? Why should we do service? Yeah.
So that the master will be pleased.
How will he? Yes. So why is he pleased?
Because indirectly you are doing service towards Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, because what's the use of talking and no fruit? Right? Krishna, the spiritual master, is teaching us how to serve Krishna. So he talks, and the student remains like it's impermeable, right? He still stands straight and don't offer any service. So what's the use? Right? Guru is teaching so that we do seva for Krishna. So you go listening, you stay mum. Right? So he's thinking he's dumb or deaf or what? Right? What's the use? Am I wasting my time? Right? So one should not only surrender to the spiritual master, but also render loving service unto him. Loving service unto the Guru means he is checking out whether you are doing seva for Krishna, right? Because Guru is going to tell you, do this like we are all doing, right? We are engaging others not in our own service, but we are engaging in Krishna's service. Text 4. Yada yogeshwara drishamanam kriya phalam sat vyavaharamoolam nahyanjasa tattva vimarshanaya bhavan mamusmin brahmate manome. O master of yogic power, you said that fatigue resulting from moving the body here and there is appreciated by direct perception, but actually there is no fatigue. It simply exists as a matter of formality. By such inquiries and answers, no one can come to the conclusion of the absolute truth. Because of your presentation of this statement, my mind is a little disturbed. Here it is. Formal inquiries and answers about the bodily conception do not constitute knowledge of the absolute truth. Knowledge of the absolute truth is quite different from the formal understanding of bodily pains and pleasures. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna informs Arjuna that the pains and pleasures experienced in relation to the body are temporary. They come and go. One should not be disturbed by them, but should tolerate them and continue with spiritual realization.
So if you are identifying with the body, then
Sorry?
this is if you are identifying with the body, then
What?
there's but appreciated by direct perception, but actually there is no fatigue.
Yeah, so he's saying that you say that fatigue resulting from moving the body here and there is appreciated by direct perception, but actually there is no fatigue. Yeah, it simply exists as a matter of formality. By such inquiries and answers, no one can come to the conclusion of the absolute truth. Because of your presentation of this statement, my mind is a little disturbed. You say, I'm saying I'm fatigued. Say, no, you're not fatigued. Right? So what does that mean? You say, no, I'm tired. I'm fatigued. And you're saying no. So what is it? So here again, was that? It simply exists, meaning the fatigue simply exists as a matter of formality. By such inquiries and answers, no one can come to the conclusion of the absolute truth. because of your presentation of this statement, my mind is a little disturbed. It's not clear. Okay, it's not clear what he's saying. But as we read, we will understand better. And Prabhupada also will bring this point that actually on this text, Matra Sparshas. Sorry? That's it. You can sit. Just sit. Sit. It's okay. You sit. Yeah. Please sit. It's for everyone. Matra Sparshas tu Konteya Shitoshana Sukhadukhada Kama Paeno Nityas Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. So here in this verse, so in Bhagavad Gita, right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna, why don't you fight? Anyway, the old man will become a young man. Right? You say, hey, old man, he will die, right? And he will acquire a new body. Why are you crying? You say, anyway, all these changes you should just tolerate. So Prabhupada gave a first-class lecture on all this. And you know how he concluded? He said, of course, this is all theory. This is what he's saying here. This is all theory. He said, it's okay, kill your grandfather. It's okay. Anyway, kill him. He will die. He will become a young man. Right? So Prabhupada is saying, of course, this is all theory. Meaning here we are in jnana, but this is all theory. Right? So formal inquiries and answers about the bodily conception do not constitute knowledge of the absolute truth. Knowledge of the absolute truth is quite different from the formal understanding of the bodily pains and pleasures. All right. We are following? So Prabhupada is saying, knowledge of the absolute truth, this Param Satyam, knowledge of the absolute truth, is quite different from the formal understanding of the bodily pains and pleasures. Alright? So let's read ahead and we'll see what it's all about. Anyway, it's very complicated. It's extremely complicated, this whole section. Text 5 and 6. Brahmana uvacha ayam jano nama chalan priviryam yat pathiva hakasya hetuhu tasyapi jangryor adhikulfa jangha januru madhyora shirodharam shaha amsedhi dharvi shivika chayasyam sauvira raje chapadeshaste yasmin bhavan rudha nijabhimanhu rajamsi sindhu shviti durmadandaha. The self-realized Brahmana Jadbharat said, among the various material combinations and permutations, there are various forms and earthly transformations. For some reason, these move on the surface of the earth and are called palanquin carriers. Remember, just imagine a scene. Here's a king, all right? He's sitting in a palanquin. And he's got 4 legs, all right? Who are the 4 legs? Palanquin. Yeah, palanquin carriers. And these legs are moving. And here, King Jadbharat, he's dissecting these 4 legs. all right, with a passenger in a palanquin, all right. Those material transformations which do not move are gross material objects like stones. So the palanquin carriers move, but what do not move? Yeah, because the palanquin is made of wood and stone, so it doesn't move. So you need you need the palanquin carriers which move to make the palanquin move, and their own bodies also is simply stone, yeah, etc. God. In any case, the material body is made of earth and stone in the form of feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, torso, throat, and head. Upon the shoulders is the wooden palanquin, and within the palanquin is the so-called king of Sauvira. The body of the king is simply another transformation of earth. But within that body, your lordship is situated, and falsely thinking that you are the king of the state of Sauvira. Okay, so who didn't read now?
But then the body is made up of earth and stone. The stone,
Your bones. Then you get stone in your kidney, right? For this reason, he is called Naradevata, the Lord among human beings. However, when a king thinks that because he is the head of the state, he can utilize the citizens for his self-gratification, he is in error. Such an attitude is not appreciated by learned scholars. According to the Vedic principles, the king should be advised by learned sages, brahmanas and scholars, who advise him according to the injunctions given in the Dharma Shastra. The duty of the king is to follow. The duty of the king is to what? To follow these instructions. Learned circles do not appreciate the king's utilizing public endeavor for his own benefit. His duty is to give protection to the citizens instead. The king should not become such a rogue that he exploits the citizens for his own benefit. Anyway, there are so many ways by which this may apply to us devotees also, right? It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga the heads of government will be plunderers and thieves. These thieves and plunderers take the money and property of the public by force of connivance. I don't know what's the meaning of connivance. Tax. Therefore it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Rajanyer Nirgriner Dasyu Dharmabhihi. As Kali Yuga advances, we can see that these characteristics are already visible. We can certainly imagine how deteriorated human civilization will be by the end of Kali Yuga. Indeed, there will no longer be a single empowered by him to look after the management and maintain things. It is therefore the duty of the head of the state to maintain the general populace in such a way that people will ultimately know the goal of life. Nate vidusvarta gatim hi Vishnum. Unfortunately, the foolish governmental heads and the general populace do not know that the ultimate goal of life is to understand and approach Lord Vishnu. Without this knowledge, everyone is in ignorance and all society is crowded with cheaters and cheated. Text 8. Yata kshitaveva characharasya vidamanishtham prabhavam cha nityam tannamatonyadyavaharamoolam nirupyatam satkriyayanumeyam. Alright, now the heavy duty philosophy is going to come here. Oh my God. We have too much wind. Let's touch this into the flower.
आवाज आएगा ना ऐसे. It's okay now, I'm holding it this way. I'll come ahead. Okay. Sorry. No, Mataji, Anna. Yeah, it is Mataji. I'm holding it. Hare Krishna. Translation. All of us on the surface of globe are living entities in the different forms. Some of us are moving and some are not moving. All of us come into existence, remain for some time and are annihilated when body is again mingled with the earth. We are simply different transformation of this earth. Different bodies, capacities are simply transformation of the earth. The exact name only, for everything grows out of the earth, and when everything is annihilated, it again mingles with the earth. In other words, we are but dust, and we shall be but be dust. Everyone can consider this point. Purport. In the Brahma Sutra, it is said that annavayatam arbhambana shabda 2.1.14. This cosmic manifestation is mixture of matter and spirit, but the cause is yes, Mataji, yes. But the cause is the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Therefore is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.20. It is said, Idham hi Vishyavayam Bhagavan Evitetara. The entire cosmic manifestation is but a transformation of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because of illusion, no one can appreciate the God is non-different from the material body. Actually, he is not different, but this material world is simply a transformation of his different energies. Parashayar Shaktir Vividhyava Sruyate. There are also other versions of this in the Vedas. Sarvam Khalvam Idham Brahma. Matter and spirit are all non-different from the Supreme Brahman. Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4. Me Bina Prakartir Astadhare. The material energy is Krishna's energy, but it is separated from him. This separate energy is also his energy, but it is not separated from him. When the material energy is engaged in the service of Supreme Spirit, so-called material energy is also transformed into spiritual energy, just as an iron rod becomes fire when placed in contact with fire. We can understand by an analytic study the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all cause of our knowledge is perfect. Simply understanding the transformation of different energy is partial knowledge. We must come to the ultimate case. Na te vidhu swartha gatim hi vishnum. The knowledge of those who are not interested in knowing the original cause of all emanation is never perfect knowledge. There is nothing in the phenomenal world that is not produced by the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aromas from earth are different scents manufactured and used for different purposes. The original cause is the earth, nothing less. A water pot made of an earth can be used to carry water from some time, but ultimately the pot is nothing but earth. Therefore, there is no difference between the pot and the original ingredient earth. It is simply different transformation of the energy. Original cause or primary ingredient is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the varieties are only byproducts. In the Chandogya Upanishads, it is stated, Yatha Saumaya Ekana Mrita Pindena Sarvam Brinhatmayam Vignatam Sayad Vacharam Bhana Vikra Namo Dahe Mrityuketa Eva Satyam. If one studies the earth, he can naturally understand the byproducts of the earth. The Vedas therefore enjoin Kasmi Bhagavato Vignate Sarva Idham Vignatam Bhavati. If one simply understands the original cause, Krishna, the cause of all causes, then naturally everything else is understood. Although it may be presented in different varieties, by understanding the original cause of different varieties, one can understand everything. If we understand Krishna, the original cause of everything, we do not need to separately study the subsidized varieties. Therefore, from the very beginning, it is said, Satyam Param Dhimahi. One has to concretes one's understanding on the supreme truth, Krishna or Vasudeva. The word Vasudeva indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes. Matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tese avasthati. This is the summary of phenomenal and Nominal's philosophy. The phenomenal words depends on the nominal existence. Simply, everything exists by virtue of the potency of the Supreme Lord. Although due to our ignorance, the Supreme Lord is not perceived in everything.
Vrittam Vasanidha Paramayode Ste Yesam Samuhena Krito. Translation. One may say that varieties arise from the planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be the truth, it is ultimately has no real existence. The Earth was originally created by a combination of atomic particles, but these particles are impermanent. Actually, the atom is not the cause of the universe, although some philosophers think so. It is not a fact that the varieties found in this material world simply result from the atomic juxtaposition or combination. Purport. Those who follow the atomic theory think that the protons and the electrons of atoms combine in such a way as to bring all material existence into being. However, the scientists fail to discover the cause of atomic existence itself. Under these circumstances, we cannot accept that the atom is the cause of the universe. Such theories are advanced by unintelligent people. According to real intelligence, the real cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Lord, Janmadi Asya Yatah. He is the original cause of all creation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matah Sarvam Pravartate. Krishna is the original cause. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Krishna is the cause of atoms, the material energy. Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhir Evacha Ahankara Ityam Me Bina Prakriti Astada. The ultimate cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and only those in ignorance try to find out other causes by posing different theories.
असच्च सजीवमजीवमन्यत् सर्वसुभवस्य कलकर्म. Translation. Since this universe has no real ultimate existence, the real things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, skinniness, smallness, bigness, result, cause, living symptoms and materials, all are imagined. They are all parts made of a same substance. They are all pods made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predispositions, time and activity. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestations created by material nature. Purport. The temporary manifestations and varieties within this material world are simply creation of material nature under various circumstances. Prakteh kirmyamani guna karmani sarvasha. The actions and reactions carried out by the material nature are sometimes accepted as our scientific inventions. Therefore, we want to take credit for them and defy the existence of God. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 3.27. Ahankara vimudda atma kartaham iti manyate. Due to being covered by the illusionary external energy, the living entity tries to take credit for all the differentiated creations within the material world. Actually, all these are being created automatically by the material force set in motion by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the ultimate cause is the Supreme Person, as stated in Brahma Samhita. ईश्वराय परम कृष्णाय सच्चिद आनंद विग्रह अनादिर अधीर गोविंदः सर्व कर्ण कारण. He is the cause of all causes, the ultimate cause. In this regard, Srila Madhavacharya says, evam sarvam tatha prakrityayai kalpitam vishnor anyat evam prakrityadhara swayam anadharya dharo vishnur eva अतः सर्व शब्दाश्च तस्मिन् एव. Actually, the original cause is Lord Vishnu, but out of ignorance, people think that matter is the cause of everything. Rajagoptarasya bhumiyah sarvanam cheti lokih vyavaharo na tat satyam tayor brahma sarvo vibhuh. Things are contemplated on the ephemeral or external platform, but actually this is not the truth. The actual protector and shelter of everyone is Brahman, the Supreme, not the King. Goptri cha tasya prakritis tasya Vishnu swayam prabhu tava goptri tu priti na tvam gopta kishtya smrtah atta sarvasarvya चैव गोप्त च हरिर ईश्वर सर्वशब्दाभिधेयस्य च शब्दवृत्तिर् हि कर्णम् सर्वान्तरः सर्वबहिः एक एव जनार्दन. The actual protectress is the material nature, but Vishnu is her Lord. He is the Lord of everything. Lord Janardana is the director, both externally and internally. He is the cause of the function of words and what is expressed in all sound. Sirasodharata yadvat gravayascha tadvat eva tu astrayatamam cha gopitratvam anyesyam upacharitrah. Lord Vishnu is the resting place of the entire creation. Brahmano hi Parastistaham. Bhagavad Gita 14.27. O Brahman, everything is resting. All the universes are resting on the Brahma Jyoti, and all the planets are resting on the universal atmosphere. In each and every planet there are oceans, hills, states and kingdoms, and each planet is giving shelter to so many living entities. They are all standing on the earth of feet and legs, torso and shoulders. But actually, everything is resting ultimately on the potencies of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is the known ultimately as Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes.
So this is all about creation, the cause behind creation, cause and effect. Main main problem is that we are not seeing God. We live in this world and we are not seeing God, and therefore we think we are independent. So it's not very. So as soon as we think there is no God, then there is no. There's exploitation. Right? There's exploitation. That's what he's doing. Text 12? 11? ज्ञानं विशुद्धं परमार्थमेकम् अनन्तरं त्वा बहिर्ब्रह्म सत्यं प्रत्यक्प्रशान्तं भगवच्छब्दसंज्ञं यद्वासुदेवं कवयो वदन्ति. What then is the ultimate truth? So we spoke of phenomenal world and the noumenon. Phenomenal world is referring to the material world. Noumenon is the cause of the material world, meaning the absolute truth, the Supreme Person of Godhead. So some people are thinking it's only atoms that's making the material world. And others say that everything is coming from planet Earth itself. This is one philosophy. It's coming from planet Earth itself. What then is the ultimate truth? The answer is that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. Jnanam vishuddham parama artham ekam anantaram. Without interior, unbroken, abahi, without exterior, Brahma, the supreme Satyam, absolute truth, Pratyak, enough, Prashantam, the calm and peaceful Supreme Lord, worshipped by the yogis, Bhagavat Shabda Samyam, known in the higher sense as Bhagavan, or full of all opulences. So, what then is the ultimate truth? The answer that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all-pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahman. Then Paramatma, the super soul, is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. So, whenever we approach Krishna, because we have some problem. So here, the yogis who are approaching the super soul without grievance, right? How will you see him? You only see your own grievance, right? This is the second stage of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the Supreme Person. All learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudev, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma and others. Okay, you can read. What did you try off?
It's in your lap. It should be in your lap. Purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that Yad Advaitam Brahma Upanishad Tad Api Asya Tanubha. The impersonal Brahman, effulgence of the Absolute Truth, consists of the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ya Atma Antarayami Purusho iti so Sayamsa Vibhava. What is known as Atma and Antaryami, the Super Soul, is but an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sat Aishwarya Purna Ya Bhagavan Sa Swayam Ayam. What is described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete with all six opulence, is Vasudeva, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from him. Great learned scholars and philosophers accept this after many births. Vasudev Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma So Durlabh, Bhagavad Gita 7.19. The wise man can understand that ultimately Vasudev Krishna is the cause of Brahman and Paramatma, the Super Soul. The Vasudev is Sarva Karan Karanam, the cause of all causes. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. The real Tattva, absolute truth, is Bhagwan. But due to incomplete realization of the absolute truth, people sometimes describe the same Vishnu as impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagvanti shabdate. Bhagavatam 1.2.11. From the very beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam says Satyam Param Dhimi. We meditate on the Supreme Truth. The Supreme Truth is explained here as Jnanam Vishuddham Satyam. The Absolute Truth is devoid of material contamination and is transcendental to the material qualities. It gives all spiritual success and liberation from this material world. That Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna Vasudeva. There is no difference between Krishna's inner self and outer body. Krishna is Purna, the complete whole. There is no distinction between his body and soul as there is between ours. Sometimes so-called scholars, not knowing the constitutional position of Krishna, mislead people by saying that the Krishna within is different from the Krishna without. When Krishna says Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru, so-called scholars advise the reader that it is not the person Krishna to whom we must surrender, but the Krishna within. So-called scholars Mayavadis cannot understand Krishna with their poor fund of knowledge. One should therefore approach an authorized person to understand Krishna. The spiritual master has actually seen Krishna, therefore he can explain him properly. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasanna sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnani tattva darshina. Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Without approaching an authorized person, one cannot understand Krishna.
Where did it fly off? In my lap? I can't see it.
Once you get up,
Text 12.
stuck here. Yes.
Oh, okay. This is a cup for the wind. Okay. Text 12. We're going to finish this chapter. It's only 4 verses. Raghu ganeta tapasa nayati nacheya chayas nirvapana grihatva nachandasa neva jalagni sure vina mahatpadarajubhishekam. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire, and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. Actual knowledge of transcendental bliss can be bestowed upon anyone by a pure devotee. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. One cannot attain the perfection of spiritual life simply by following the directions of the Vedas. So you say that, okay, let me just get the book and read, right? One has to approach a pure devotee, anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam. By the grace of such a devotee, one can understand the absolute truth, Krishna and one's relationship with him. A materialistic person sometimes thinks that simply by executing pious activities and remaining at home, one can understand the absolute truth. That is denied in this verse. Nor can one understand the absolute truth simply by observing the rules and regulations of brahmacharya, celibacy. One only has to serve the pure devotee. That will help one understand the absolute truth without fail. Text 13. Yatra tamashloka gananuvada prastuyate gramya katha vigatah nishevyamano nudinam mumukshu matim satim yachati vasudeve. Who are the pure devotees mentioned here? In an assembly of pure devotees, there is no question of discussing material subjects like politics and sociology. In an assembly of pure devotees, there is only discussion of the qualities, forms, and pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is praised and worshipped with full attention. In the association of pure devotees, by constantly hearing such topics respectfully, even a person who wants to merge into the existence of the absolute truth abandons this idea and gradually becomes attached to the service of Vasudeva. The symptoms of pure devotees are described in this verse. The pure devotee is never interested in material topics. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has strictly prohibited his devotees to talk about worldly matters, where the wars are going on, who is doing what, right? Gramya varta na kahibe. One should not indulge in talking unnecessarily about news of the material world. One should not waste time in this way. This is a very important feature in the life of a devotee. A devotee has no other ambition than to serve Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This Krishna consciousness movement was started to engage people 24 hours daily in the service of the Lord and in His glorification. The students of this institution engage in the cultivation of Krishna consciousness from 5 in the morning till 10 at night. They actually have no opportunity to waste their time unnecessarily by discussing politics, sociology, and current events. These will go their own way. A devotee is concerned only with serving Krishna positively and seriously. Unfortunately, now YouTube is on, right? Prabhupada didn't know about YouTube. See how we all got caught, right? So very easily politics, sociology, and so many stuff comes. Text 14. Aham pura bhratarato nama raja vimukta drishta shruta sanga bandha aradhanam bhagavata ihamano mrigo bhavam mriga sangadhartah. In a previous birth, I was known as Maharaj Bharat. I don't know what's happening here. I attained perfection by becoming completely detached from material activities. Through direct experience and through indirect experience, I received understanding from the Vedas. The incident herein described is very significant. In a previous verse it is stated, Vinam Mahat Pada Rajobhishekam. One cannot attain perfection without smearing the dust from the lotus feet of an exalted devotee on his head. If one always follows the orders of the spiritual master, there is no question of falling down. As soon as a foolish disciple tries to overtake his spiritual master and becomes ambitious to occupy his post, he immediately falls down. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadu, yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. If the spiritual master is considered an ordinary man, the disciple surely loses his chance to advance further. Despite a very rigid life in devotional service, Bharat Maharaj didn't consult a spiritual master when he became overly attached to a deer. Consequently, he became strongly attached to the deer, and forgetting his spiritual routine, he fell down. Meaning that he took Diksha, right? Everything was happening very happily. He learned everything, and then what happened? He started living his own life. And he forgot to check, is it okay what I'm doing? He forgot his guru, in other words. He forgot his guru. This happened to all of us, isn't it? After some years, when you become very nicely situated, everything is okay, chanting is okay, hearing is okay, everything is okay, right? You saw what happened? He stopped consulting with his guru and he fell down. Guru is extremely powerful. When you are not able to control the mind, when you are being harassed by material desires, I will even say when you are being harassed by ghosts, right? Meaning other living entities poking their mind in your mind, right? Just take shelter of Guru. Think of him or tell him. Immediately it's removed. Immediately. Text 15. Samam smritir mriga dehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano chahati Athoham jana sangata sango Vishankamano vrivitas charami. My dear heroic king, he is a hero, okay? Due to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life even while in the body of a deer. Because I'm aware of the fall down in my past life, I always keep myself separate from the association of ordinary men. Being afraid of their bad materialistic association, I wander alone unnoticed by others. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, Svalpamapi asyatram dharmasya. It is certainly a great fall to go from human life to animal life. But in the case of Bharat Maharaj or any devotee, devotional service to the Lord never goes in vain. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram. At the time of death, by nature's law, the mind is absorbed in a certain type of thinking. This may lead one to animal life, yet for a devotee there is no loss. Even though Bharat Maharaj received the body of a deer, he didn't forget his position. Consequently, in the body of a deer, he was very careful to remember the cause of his downfall. As a result, he was given a chance to be born in a family of very few Brahmanas. Thus, his service to the Lord never went in vain. Last text, 16. Tasman naro sanga susanga jata Vyanasine haiva vikrinna moha Harim tadiha kathana shitabhyam Labdha smiti yatyati paramadvanaha. Simply by associating with exalted devotees, anyone can attain perfection of knowledge, and with the sword of knowledge can cut to pieces the illusory associations within this material world. Through the association of devotees, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting Shravanam Kirtanam. Thus one can revive his dormant Krishna consciousness, and sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home back to Godhead, even in this life. Purport: to become liberated from material bondage, one must give up the association of worldly people and accept the association of devotees. Positive and negative processes are mentioned in this regard. Through the association of devotees, one develops Krishna consciousness, which is dormant within. This Krishna consciousness movement is giving this chance to everyone. We are giving shelter to everyone who is serious about progressing in Krishna consciousness. We arrange for their lodging and board so that they can peacefully cultivate Krishna consciousness and return home back to Godhead even in this life. Alright, so Prabhupada is speaking about he's made his society ISKCON, so he's saying he made the ashram so that devotees will stay here and peacefully cultivate Krishna consciousness, so that they don't have to mix with the outside people. As soon as you step out, this is your daily life, right? As soon as you step out, this one is smoking, this one is chewing pan, this one is doing this. Horrible, right? And then they pull you in their sangha, right? You go for weddings, what do they do with you? They want you to eat their food, right? They want you to dress like them, right? Everything that you learn goes out of the window, blown off, right? You have to become like them. So the more we associate with them, the more we become like them. So here, King Bharat Maharaj, he's saying, just see, this is what happened to me. So he's keeping himself very much restricted. Very, very much restricted, and he said, my fault. I didn't consult my spiritual master when I was falling down. He didn't take his advice. Too attached to deer, maybe Guru will say, give up the deer, right? So, there's a lot of philosophy here, right? Sankhya, basically, because this section is Sankhya, you read it again, take pen and paper and rewrite. That's what I'm doing. I'm rewriting the purport. There's no rasa in all this. It is required, because Bhagavatam is teaching us how to see the Supreme Lord everywhere. Okay, that's the problem. Where's God? I don't see Him. Right? So here we are being taught how to see Krishna everywhere. Thank you. Hare Krishna. If I take this, it will fly off, so better wait. Oh my God, this is going bad. Actually.